Well, I want to say hello to everyone. Hey, Louise, that's great that you're here, and how exciting. And I hope everything works out for you. And Deanna and Sandra, thank you so much for moderating and being host of the room and dedicated and committed to helping uh, people get the message and utilize the message. You are both incredibly valuable or invaluable in essence to that part of the process, and I love you and appreciate you. And Jose and Weenie or Winey and Cami, thank you for being here. And I encourage you all to share the blog if you're getting something from it. You know, you can subscribe for free at Gratitude Activator and get the blog delivered to your inbox daily, you know, if you want. And so that's always an option for you. And I encourage you to do that. Many people, you know, join us in programs. Sandra's in the Ultimate NLP Home Study Program. We've got How to Get People to Do What You Want, which is on influence and persuasion and rapport and creating, you know, good connections between people, which is also part of the NLP program. And the Law of Attraction course, How to Change Your Transform Your Life. And we've got Mind Design. I mean, just so many different things. And the Attitude Activator, very powerful. And of course, my book. Now, I'm not here to make a commercial, but the reason why I say these things is because, you know, if you really want to take the next step, you know, you can do what thousands, countless of thousands of other people have done in the past and in the present to change their lives, and that's join us, you know, enroll in a program or read the book or get the attitude activator, but do something that helps you move forward in a way that you'd like to move forward. You know, I wrote this blog and I included a lot of quotes because, you know, sometimes people need to hear other voices in order to be able to understand what's going on or make a decision or become convinced that you know something is occurring the way it's occurring. So, you know, I chose some quotes. When I started my work, you know, over 40 years ago, in the area of beliefs and personal change and placebo, there were just a handful of studies on the power of the mind and visualization, you know, on affirmation, but placebo. And placebo has been so misunderstood for so many decades, and it had been, you know, ridiculed and dismissed for many decades. And now, all these years later, there's something like over 45,000 studies that you can, you know, search through and read on the power of belief and expectations, the placebo effect, health and healing, you know, and how to transform your life by transforming your mindset. And I don't want it to be lost on people. That's why I keep talking in some ways about the same thing over and over and over again. Our expectations, our beliefs are so very powerful, and they're so close to us. I mean, they're like our skin. You know, we reside within them, and actually they are within us. And so we have what we call outlook. We outlook, you know, from our own eyes, but we outlook at the world, but we're actually kind of out picturing the world because of the way our neurology filters things and the way our beliefs and expectations shape what we can pay attention to and what we miss. So the most profound area of personal change for you is to understand how your attitude, your beliefs, your expectations, your thoughts, in other words, affect everything that you do, both positively or not so positively. In other words, what happened with science was then they realized, wow, you know, people can make themselves sick by worry, by thinking, you know, negatively, by affirming, you know, oh my God, this will kill me kind of stuff. And they realized people could get sick, but they were much slower to realize that people could get well and that people could get, you know, better health by expecting or believing or affirming and visualizing, you know, the positive. And then people like Norman Cousins came along, you know, and Dr. Bernie Siegel and others, other pioneers in the field of medicine or in the field of psychology or the field of, you know, beliefs, and said, hey, you know what? If you laugh, and laughing, you know, releases all sorts of positive hormones and neurochemicals and can help transform your experience. So But think about that for a second. It's laughing. You're looking at something funny. You're laughing. So when you laugh, you oxygenate your system. You change what you're doing. You give yourself this internal massage. You squirt these wonderfully positive, hormones and chemicals into your system to create wealth or health and wealth and well-being. And that's simply through laughter. Now science understands that you can think yourself well. And there's statistics to demonstrate that this is, in fact, not only possible, but actually doable. Now, we still don't understand essentially how it works. I mean, any more than we understand how electricity works. We use them, but we don't really understand, how this all came to be. Why is it that you can think yourself sick or you can think yourself well? Why is it that you can think yourself broke or think yourself rich? Why is it and it's just the thinking, because people say, well, it's not just positive thinking, but that's where it starts. It absolutely is just positive thinking. Because if you're not thinking positively, if you're not thinking the right thoughts, you're not going to take the right actions. So actions follow your thoughts. And of course, you want to engage actions, but you need to do so with the right attitude, with the right mindset. That's why expectations are so important. If you expect to lose, you might lose. If you expect to win, you might win. It's not going to guarantee it because there may be other factors at play. Especially if you're in a game and you go, I expect to win, and somebody fumbles the ball or drops something, or the other team does something. There are factors that you might not be able to account for, but you're more likely, 100% more likely to win if you expect to win than if you expect to lose. And the amazing part about this is that people talk about, oh, you don't want to be a Pollyanna or your toxic positivity, and this is how people misunderstand it. It's the same thing that science did when they ridiculed this stuff decades ago, within the past century. And think about that. If you're going, oh, it's just a placebo effect, that's another thought. You're dismissing something. And so what happens for people is they don't realize how how thinking makes it so. Thinking makes everything so. Because if you're not thinking, what are you doing? I mean, literally, if you're not thinking, if you could not think a thought, what would your life be like? And there are those people who can't, and there are those people who are, in comas or not awake or unaware, and they're not able to think. They're not that we are aware of, that we know about, and they're not able to act, voluntarily on their own behalf. So if it isn't for your thinking, then what is it? Then what is it? And if you say, well, it's your actions, you have to do it. Where do your actions come from? Where do they start from? They start from whether you think something is possible or not possible, whether you think you can or you can't, whether you decide that you will or you won't. These are the choices you have, but the most amazing thing is that it's all within your control. Now, there is a little caveat to that, and that is we grow up conditioned and we grow up creating patterns and neurological wiring and habits that are automatic, they're reliable, and they operate outside of consciousness. That's why we have these knee-jerk reactions. Somebody gives you the finger, you give them the finger back. Somebody says something horrible to you, you might say something horrible back. We react. But and this is where for some people they think it's difficult to change because they go, well, you have these habits, you have this condition, you have that, you have these beliefs and all this stuff, and so then they make that a reason for why they can't change. So here's the thing about that. It's true, you have conditioning and you're going to operate from your conditioning. You are a little bit like Pavlov's dog. The bell rings and you salivate, so things happen in life. So an event happens and you think, oh, I'll never be able to do that, or my life is over, or I can't change, or I'll always be broke, or I don't deserve it. So you go into these patterns that you're used to. But here's the thing, is that at some point in your life it opens up the possibility that you might say, you know what, I don't have to live like this anymore. I don't like it. I don't want it. I would rather live a different way. And so I'm going to choose to do something differently. In fact, anytime I think I don't deserve it, I'm going to counter that with, I do deserve it. I am loved. I accept myself. I do deserve it. And good things happen to me. And you train yourself, but you have to train yourself the same way that you were conditioned. And you can do that consciously by looking in the mirror in the morning and shouting and being excited and saying your affirmations and having intense, wonderful, positive emotions while you do that. You can do that by laughing and chanting your affirmations. You can do it by visualizing wonderful things, how you do deserve it. See yourself filled with love, see people loving you. You can use your imagination in that way. And what you ultimately do is you override and overwrite the other conditioning in the same way that if you used to go to one address where you lived and you moved to another address, and you don't necessarily ever forget where you used to live, but you start going to the new address instead of the old address because where you want to go is the new address. In the same way with this positive thinking, you don't want to think, I don't deserve it and I'm broken, nothing ever good happens to me. You do want to think, I deserve it, I'm loved, I accept myself, and good always happens to me. And so the more you practice and rehearse and do that, consciously, deliberately, intentionally, or do it through, relaxation and meditation, or using the attitude activator, or jumping into one of my programs. The more that you do that, the more reliable and automatic it becomes, and you develop a new habit of thinking differently. So you can transform your life, even though for some it would almost seem impossible. But that's why I say it goes from impossible to possible, from I can't to I can, to I will, from I won't, and to I'm doing it. I am now in the process of loving and accepting myself. I am finding that good things happen to me. I am deserving of this. And then finally, it's I've done it. I have, self respect. I love myself. Things always work out for me. I'm in the middle of positive and wonderful positive change. I do the things that I want to do, and I live life successfully. So you move, it may be incrementally in some cases, but you move from what was not wanted, not good, undesirable, the things that caused you pain and suffering, into a more wonderful, glorious experience of life. But that is within your control, and it begins with the decision. But if you don't think you have the power to decide, or if you don't think that decision is yours, or you don't think you can do that, you're not likely to do that. So if that's the case, what's the first thing you need to address? Your thinking. Why? Because it shapes your reality. It determines how far you, or how willing you are to go, and whether or not you actually go after the results that you hope to go after, and accomplish them or not. So if your thinking stinks, everything else follows that. If you think I feel sick, and you say, you can feel sick. If you think I feel ecstatic and wonderful and loving and powerful, you can begin to feel and experience that. Thinking makes it so. This is why we say from within to without. If you change what you're thinking and doing on the inside, your feelings change, then your speech patterns, what you say to yourself and others, change. And when that changes, your actions and behaviors change. Those things that you do on a daily basis, how you care for yourself, how you interact with other people, how you go after your goals, how you succeed in what you're doing, how you're feeling happy, and all that stuff, all works together to create an incredibly new opportunity lifestyle for yourself. But it's likely to not happen if you don't think it will, and if you're not willing to do it. And here's the thing, and I say this in a lot of places, a lot of the thought gurus and leaders today, and the shiny objects, here's the thing, not all of them are really good thought leaders or good role models, but they're great at marketing, and they're great at sales, and they're great at pitching. And they'll tell you, if you want to have all these wonderful things, these cars, these jets, these planes, these trains, these travel, the relationships, the money, and all that stuff come to you, you have to work really, really hard. You have to sweat. You have to risk. You have to give up. You have to sacrifice. You have to forego your pleasure now. You have to massively 10x your, you know, your strategies and your struggles. Take massive action on. And then, if you do all that, and you do enough, and you work really hard, and for long enough, and give up your family, and give up your friends, and give up everything that's important to you, then You can have what you want, and then you will be someone who's important, someone who's happy, someone who's rich, someone who's successful. You will be, at the top of the ladder where the air is rare and there few are up there because few will do what others won't. So I'm never saying that you don't effort in some way because you do. If I want a drink of water, I have to get up and walk across the room, or I hope somebody brings it to me, or ask someone in order for it to be delivered. So there is action that's required, but it's not what is being sold to most people. If you're struggling, if you're poor, if you're broke, if you're sick, if you're unwanted and unhealthy, and you feel alone or whatever it might be, there is a better way. And I invite you to join us in that way. And that is to learn how to celebrate everything, and learn how to shape your thinking, because your thinking, your expectations, your belief acts as a placebo and shapes your reality. If you don't think you can, you're not going to do it. If you think you suck, you probably do or will. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the reality you create for yourself. If you think you can do it and you're wonderful and you're glorious, you can create that for yourself too. If you can think yourself sick, or you can think yourself well, you can think yourself broke, or you can think yourself rich, you can think yourself, a loser or a winner. That is all up to you. And so this is the invite that I have for you. Get the Attitude Activator. Join me in a program. Read the blog on a daily basis. Do those things that help you transform your life. Share the blog with other people. Be part of a community who's dedicated and committed in a playful and a wonderful, easy way to make these changes. You can laugh yourself well more than you can force yourself to be well. Do you get that? Because you don't want to add stress to what it is you're doing. You don't want to release the neurochemicals for stress, or fight or flight when you're trying to be successful or happy or loving or kind or joyful. So it's not about creating massive pain in your life in order to move away from it. It's about understanding that there is an easier, better, more enjoyable, wonderful way that you can move towards, and you can do bit by bit to feel more wonderful and better and have greater joy in your life. And that's been my message for now almost 50 years, if not over 50 years, is to make your life the life you want. Now, I'll finish with this, and I say this all the time. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in millionaires and billionaires' homes and in their businesses, and they go, Rex, I need your help. I have all these things. I've got all these accomplishments. I've got all these possessions. I can travel anywhere. Money's not an issue, but I'm lonely. I suck. I don't feel good. I'm insecure. I hate my life. I hate myself. Nothing's working out for me. The money didn't change anything. The success didn't change anything. I thought it would, but it didn't do it. So they they're they're stuck, and they whine and they complain and they moan and they blame and they excuse and they do all this stuff. So they call me in, and I go in, and we talk about this, and I encourage them and teach them how to change, and to make life better for themselves. And I've countless thousands of people who've done that all around the planet. So here's the thing: the destination that you think is important, in the same way that if I say I want to travel to Los Angeles from New York, that my destination is Los Angeles. I know I want to go there. That's what I want. I intend to do it. I'm gonna do it. But how you get there matters, and how you get where you're going in life matters, because let's say you don't make your destination, you don't get what you want, or you die in the process. How do you want your days to be spent? You want them struggling and flagellating yourself and criticizing yourself, and stressful, and sacrificing your family and your leisure time and your fun and your friends and everything to work really hard and then say die? Or would you like the journey to be so ecstatic and so wonderful and so delightful and so pleasurable and so filled with, ecstasy, that if you make it to your destination or not, it doesn't really matter. And yes, your intention is to get to your destination, but if for some reason you didn't, or if you died in the process, at least you died living a marvelous life, because why else are we here? You think we're really here to work hard and then pay taxes and be dead? Or are we here to thrive and live and enjoy life, and to share that love and that companionship and that camaraderie and the harmony and the goodness with other people or not? And so it's up for each of us to decide how we want to make our life better and better. And you can. And you can. And I promise you can. And yet most people don't know that, or most people end up attracted to the wrong message, and they struggle and they work hard and they fret, and then they go, oh, I tried it and it didn't work. I tried it but it didn't work. Oh, I tried the law of attraction but I couldn't get it to work. I tried this, I tried that, you know. And so end up, that's where they fall back into the same old habitual patterns of thinking or being or acting or speaking, and that's what you want to transform. So the good news is you can. The bad news is you might not, because you don't choose to do it. And if you don't choose to do it, not likely to happen. But once you make a decision, you go, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and you take one small step each day. Enough steps in the right direction, enough baby steps in the right direction can get you all the way to the top of Mount Everest. So you want to go to Mount Everest with me? Come join me. Come be here in the room. Get the blog. Hop into a program. Get the Attitude Activator. Read my book, but do something powerfully and positively for yourself today. And if you can, help someone else make that kind of decision for themselves too. And let's spread it. You can light a million candles off of one candle, but that candle, your candle, must be lit first. And with that, I pass the mic.
Ooh, let's bring that in. That was absolutely an honor. Thank you, Rex, for being here and witnessing your beautiful message, the way that you consistently, each and every day, whether you're here or not, this is the greatest gift that we can give. There's a legacy here. There's a legacy through the recordings here. We can share them. We can invite others to come alongside. But the greatest gift that I have experienced and what I'm taking away from today, as always, is that to lead myself first, to go within and transform without. As I have grown, I have modeled the way forward. And so it starts with a choice. It starts connecting your heart to the mind, to a higher calling and consciousness. But my beautiful journey here began over, 3 years ago now, in connection with this beautiful Master Rex. And Rex, I have the deepest respect and love for you. You know that. And thank you for showing up today, as always. So make a choice. Let's make a choice. What is that one simple thing you can do to continue to grow, to expand, to magnify? And for me, it's the gratitude. So I'm going to turn this over to Deanna. It has been an absolute wonderful hour and a half. This recording is in Celebrate Everything. Come join us if you're not already in our beautiful community. Click on the 3 dots up there. Come and join Celebrate Everything with Rex Sikes tomorrow morning. Woohoo! 8:30 a.m. Pacific. I'm here with beautiful Deanna and others to again celebrate, to enrich, go through the blog post, asking ourselves with intention, what is that one simple next step that we can do daily to continue to transform our lives and to live our lives on our terms, easily and beautifully, and celebrating everything. So thank you all. Lewis, my beautiful friend, my heart goes to you, to your mama, and to your family. I'll be in touch shortly. And Cami, thank you for being here. We love having our friends here. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully see you tomorrow. Deanna, for your servant, lovely leadership and always, just being a beautiful guiding light for Rex's rooms. And I thank you for that. So with that, Rex, if you're done, if we're all done celebrating everything,